Thompson was killed inside of a house on Cambridge Drive in Bowie, Maryland.
Rafael Sanchez Cruz has been covering the investigation there. Rafa, you spoke to the accused killer's cousin and learned some insight into how this arrest all played out.
Yeah, Lorenzo, Annie, this is a really layered case. So let me walk you through it. Yesterday, investigators executed a search warrant at this home right behind me. But today, there were federal agents back here to arrest a different man. Now, the cousin of Hugo Hernandez Mendez tells me that they found blood inside her cousin's bedroom, that blood belonging to Dacara Thompson. It's in the side bedroom of this Bowie home where investigators say Dacara Thompson was killed. I never thought a family member would do something like that. We are distraught. The cousin of Hugo Hernandez Mendez agreed to speak only if her face was not shown. We will call her Maria. She says her cousin, an immigrant from Guatemala, lived with her family and other relatives, but recently she rarely saw him and his behavior changed.
It's very unfortunate that we have to live in a society where predators are always lurking.
Neighbors are still in shock.
I just felt that there was a need for me to come out and extend my condolences to the family.
Oh my goodness, it's connected.
Tracy Franklin says Maryland State Troopers visited her home as part of the investigation.
I am very glad to see that coverage is happening and awareness of a young African-American woman missing, because a lot of times that doesn't happen.
Maria says her husband was also taken by investigators for questioning yesterday, but was released. This morning, she says federal immigration agents were back at their home, this time for her husband, who is an undocumented immigrant from Mexico. They did not have an order for my husband or a warrant for me. They simply handcuffed him and took him. Maria insists her husband has nothing to do with the alleged crime. Her young children standing right next to her. She says her husband was taken despite his full cooperation in the criminal investigation. She has this message for Dacara's parents.
I
am a mother. I understand her mother and father. I have children. I hope God gives them strength through this difficult situation. I really lament that it was a family member of mine, my cousin. I am really sorry. Yeah, we did reach out to ICE to know more details about the arrest of Maria's husband, but we have yet to hear back. Lorenzo, Annie, this community still processing this horrible tragedy. Back to you.
Heartbreaking conclusion. Rafael, thank you. Now, the News 4i team has been digging into details about Hernandez Mendez's prior arrest by federal authorities and why he was let go.
Yeah, investigative reporter Tracy Wilkins joining us live in the studio here. Tracy, like Erica said, you've been digging on this all day. What have you found?
Well, there are a lot of questions about what happened here, but let's start with what we know about Hugo Hernandez Mendez and his past interactions with the law. A spokesperson from ICE today said he is from Guatemala and entered the country at an unknown date. While announcing his arrest today, state and county officials said he had been arrested by U.S. Park Police last spring and charged with a DUI, but was released. Sources close to the investigation say he was arrested on the Baltimore-Washington Parkway in Prince George's County on April 25th. We've been told that procedurally, he most likely would have been held in the U.S. Park Police barrack in Greenbelt and then would have had a first appearance in federal court in Greenbelt. We looked for those records but could not find them in the court system. We asked Park Police for charging documents, but they directed us to file an open request in order to get those records. Given the federal push to detain undocumented people in this country, there are questions now as to why he was released after this DUI charge with a federal agency, which is still pending, by the way. Here's what County Executive Aisha Braveboy said about that arrest earlier today.
Well, I think that the U.S. government has made status of individuals relevant. This was someone who was in their custody. And they made the decision to release him. So I think the questions should be asked of the Justice Department.
Now, we reached out to the DOJ and the Maryland U.S. Attorney's Office for clarification on why Hernandez Mendez was not held then, since ICE tells us he is undocumented. But they told us they have no comment on this case. ICE issued a detainer for Hernandez Mendez yesterday at this murder investigation as this murder investigation was still unfolding. The case came to the attention of the Black and Missing Foundation when Thompson's parents reached out to them. The group partners with families and law enforcement to help find the people whose cases are sometimes mishandled or ignored. Their work has had a great impact on how cases of missing Black people are handled. They described to me how critical notifying the public early on can be to an investigation.
Regardless of the situation of that person being missing, everyone gets a flyer. And that right there, that public notification is so important. Soon as that missing persons case is filed, it gets a flyer and it becomes disseminated all over the media, social media platforms, sharing it with the general public. And that right there is the first step, because the community can't help you in finding someone if the community is not aware that someone is missing. And so just those first 24 to 48 hours, those are the most critical moments.
Prince George's County Police say they did distribute flyers and investigate Thompson's disappearance early on, but that video evidence shows she was entering a vehicle later associated with Hernandez Mendez before she was reported missing. So there are questions about timing. And as we know, her family led much of the grassroots effort to locate her. So there were questions about critically missing people versus folks who are adults and are in good health.
Right.
And in Prince George's County, those cases are not typically labeled critical. And it also depends on the evidence and a lot of other things. But there were folks on social media who were trying to figure out what's going on. Her family really led the push. And as Prince George's County Police said, they were out there distributing flyers. They were doing their investigation. It may not have appeared on all of their social media channels, but the community was definitely reaching out. But of course, just an unfortunate ending to all of this regardless.
What would need to happen to change that? Is that a police department decision, or is that a statewide decision?
Well, it's a police department decision, but police departments like Prince George's County are following national standards that a number of police departments follow. So the bottom line being, so we had 3 women who went missing around the same time, right? Thompson was one of them. One of those women was found and she was perfectly fine and she was safe. And that's an example of one of these cases that was not initially labeled a critical case. And, you know, there were good reasons for why. So in this case, same kind of thing. When you're dealing with healthy adults, police are looking at the fact that sometimes adults want to go on their own way and do something and maybe not tell the rest of their family where they are. And so handling all of that makes it very complicated, but it's important for the public to understand that's a balancing act.
That's right. And the county executive said she is an adult. She was 19, but she was somebody's baby.
Yeah, a young adult. Yeah.
Thank you.